What up, world? Welcome to a new episode. Ooh, BrandonJaneauShow. As you know, I am Brandon Janeau, like always on all podcast platforms everywhere. BrandonJaneauShow, social media platforms, Instagram, Threads, Brandon Janeau, Facebook, The Brandon Janeau Show, and of course, TikTok, Brandon Janeau Show. Go follow me on all those social media platforms. I hope you guys enjoy those clips that I've been posting here and there. Not so much on Threads and Instagram, but I try. Um, but follow me on all those social media platforms. Really, where you go though is just plain old the YouTube channel, Brandon Janeau Show, man. Go subscribe, comment. I do comment back. Like the shorts, like the vids, it helps in the algorithms. I appreciate that. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Appreciate you guys. Yes, let's get into it, man. This is I Bleed Sports, and I've been doing this list, top 10 list. I started in music, now I moved it to sports. I'm still in the 90s of sports, so bear with me. Um, Still in the 90s of sports. So let's get into it, man. This top 10 list is NFL teams. Last week was basketball, this week is football. I got a lot, I mean, a lot of responses on the basketball one last week. It was freaking nuts how many responses I got on the basketball one last week. I mean, I think I did like four something, 4,000, I think views, some crazy ass number, not 1,000, but it was like 400, some shit. It was a crazy amount of views, and I'm just like, wow. Comments, all that. And again, I have to tell people this. Please look at the damn top of the heading before you post a comment under the video because it literally says 90s. It literally says 90s. I had a lot of people be like, what about the '04 Pistons in the 2001 Lake? I'm like, did you motherfuckers just not see? It said my top 10 90s? Like, what the? Again, I get it. You're so hasty. You're ready to just comment. That's why I love doing lists like this because you actually have to look. You actually have to pay attention because you'll post something, you'll say something in the comment like, oh, you should have put this team on here. And then you see the list and it's like, oh right, it's supposed to be 90s. I'm sorry. You think nowadays people speak before they think. And again, this is not a diss. This is not a this is just people speak before they think nowadays. And so when you see these vids, you see the list and you're ready just to write it down, it's like just be aware of what you're putting down first. So all I ask. Nothing more, nothing less. All right. This is my top 10 90s NFL teams. This is my top 10 90s teams of the my NFL 90s top teams, my top 10 of the 90s NFL teams. Say that shit 5 times fast. I go from 10 to 1. If you ever seen a list, if you've never seen me do a list, I go to 10 to 1. I talk about each team, why they're on my list. Um yeah, and why I have them so highly regarded. So, yes. Also, if you do not like this list, say it's every top 10 list since the shit is starting to get popular. I say it's every top 10 list. If you do not like this list, I personally need you to do something for me. I need you to make your own fucking list. It is very simple. It's very simple. Write it the fuck down. Get a pen, get a piece of paper, and write it down. And if you want to post it on social media, then post it on social media. But don't tell me, well, you posted it on social media, you must want feedback. No, the fuck I don't. I don't need your feedback. I don't care about your feedback. You have no idea. I learned how to now get people the fuck off the comments, and it's not just to remove. No, I know how to do y'all now. I know how to get the comments completely the fuck out of my chat. I don't want to see it nowhere on my page because some of y'all just are stupid. And again, I don't say stupid. I think y'all just think like everybody thinks like you, and that's not the case. It's just not the case. Not everybody thinks like you. And I'm sorry to tell y'all that. So let's get into it, man. Also, need to say this. If a team has won multiple Super Bowls in the 90s, I'm going to go with my team that I chose that I thought was the best team of those three championship teams. So Dallas won three titles in the 90s. I do have Dallas on the list, but they're not going to be featured on here three consecutive fucking times. That is ridiculous. I do not do that shit. That is ridiculous. I had that all last week with the Bulls. Oh, the Bulls should have been all six Bulls. No, nigga, I'm not doing that. That's stupid. I'm gonna go with the best Bulls team, and then the rest I'm gonna fill it out. Done. So let's get into it. Number 10. Starting out the list at number 10 is the 1999 Jacksonville Jaguars, coached by Tom Coughlin. Um, this was his job before he went to the Giants and built somewhat of the Giants and won two bowls with the Giants. But Tom Coughlin really was the Jags' first real head coach in Jacksonville. I mean, he was the most unique one. You have Mark Brunell as the quarterback, a man who had bounced around for years and finally got his just due in Jacksonville. Probably one of the greatest Jacksonville quarterbacks still. I mean, some people can say it's Byron Leftwich. Some people can say it's David Garrard. I can't believe somebody would even tell me it's Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, Trevor, fuck him. Nick, is you stupid? Trevor Lawrence. Some people, some dumbass, some young kid is gonna be like, it's Trevor Lawrence. Bitches, you stupid. Be real. I grew up in the 90s. Mark Brunell was the best Jacksonville Jaguars quarterback. Like I said, if you say Byron Leftwich or you say David Garrard, I cannot disagree with you. I'd be like, nah, I can see why you would say it. But for me, it's Mark Brunell. This Jaguars team went to the AFC Championship game. They lost to the Tennessee Titans, had a chance to go to the Super Bowl. Yes, I think this Jacksonville Jaguars team was way better than the actual Jacksonville Jaguars team that went to the AFC Championship game like what 6, 7, 8 years ago with Blake Bortles as the fucking quarterback. Are you fucking kidding me? I thought this Jacksonville Jaguars team was just way better. You had Fred Taylor, you had Jimmy Smith, you had um, I always forget his name. Keenan McCardle, like that dynamic duo, that fucking receiver duo, it don't get enough respect. Like I'm gonna be honest, that damn wide receiver duo don't get enough fucking respect. I get it, but in the world of wide receiver duos, bro, if they would have won one championship, we would have them at a high regard. Now I'm gonna talk about another wide receiver duo that also don't get enough respect, but that's later on. But this wide receiver duo deserve way more fucking respect than they get. But yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars kicks off the list of 1999. They're number 10. Number 9, it is the 1990 Buffalo Bills. Now, technically, it's the 89-90 Buffalo Bills, but I give them, you know, the Bills was that team in the 90s. Anybody that sits there and says that the Bills weren't that team, the reason why I go with the 90s Bills somewhat is because they actually had a chance to win a championship that year. If the kicker doesn't miss the kick, the Bills at least have a ring in their conversation of even if they didn't win multiple rings, they had one and went to 4 consecutive Super Bowls. That shit is damn near impossible. That shit is damn near impossible. I mean, we're just now seeing shit like that. But the '90s Bills, I'll say Bulls, Lord of mercy, '90s Bills with Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas. I mean, people getting mad at me because I had Thurman Thomas on the list. I'm like, bitch, it is Thurman Thomas. You're not about to sit up here and tell me Thurman Thomas is not one of the greatest running backs of all time. You must be out your motherfucking mind. That's another receiving core. James Lofton, uh, Andre Reed, that defense led by Bruce Smith. Like, dude, that Buffalo Bills team was fucking crazy. The fact that they didn't win a championship is fucking beyond me. I have no idea how the hell they did not win a championship. One of my favorite sports documentaries is the Four Falls of Buffalo. Um, or the Four Falls of the Bills. Like, those are my favorite two. That is my favorite. One of my favorite documentaries that ESPN 30 for 30 has ever done, because you could literally watch and see how the Bills just crumbled every single time they got there. It's just like, what the fuck, dude. But yeah, the Bills in the '90s was just different. Was just different. Number 8, it is the Minnesota Vikings, the 1998 Minnesota Vikings. I still to this day think they should have got to the Super Bowl. That is ridiculous. That was Randy Moss's rookie year. Chris Carter was on another level. You had Randall Cunningham coming out of nowhere and taking the Minnesota Vikings quarterback job over from Brad Johnson. I talk about him in the 2000s. Uh, that Minnesota team, you had John Randall on the defense. I think you had Antoine Winfield on there. Actually, Antoine Winfield should have been a safety by that time. Like, you had a team, man, to finish 15-1 and not even get to the fucking Super Bowl is crazy. Now, I do not have the Falcons on here. Who actually beat them? Who was like 14-2 that year? I don't have the Falcons on this team. Reason why? I just don't think they were actually a really good fucking team. Yeah, 14-2, great. What happened the next year? And the year after that? And then the year after that? 2 years later, what? All right, 2 years. 3 years later, 4 years later, you was drafting Michael Vick. So yeah, but the '98 Vikings, they should have went to the Super Bowl. I know people sit there and say, "Well, why is the Bills, who actually made the Super Bowl, not in front of the Vikings?" That is very true, and I can make that case. But I look at the Vikings, man, that year and just say that shit was unheard of. At that time, 15-1, and didn't make the Super Bowl. I don't know, man. I just got too much respect and love for the Vikings. That team, '98, that team was just different. It was different, man. Number 7, it is the '96 Green Bay Packers. The '96 Packers, led by Brett Favre on the offensive side and Reggie White, the Minister of Defense on the defensive side, took the Green Bay Packers finally to a Super Bowl in almost what? Since 1960 shit, 1960 something? Like just the first two Super Bowls, matter of fact. The first two Super Bowls. The first two Super Bowls. That's not the first two Super Bowls. And the Packers didn't go back to the Super Bowl since then. Since then. And then the Green Bay Packers ended up getting Brett Favre and Reggie White, and they went to the Super Bowl and crushed the New England Patriots. They beat the hell out of the Patriots that year. Um, and Super Bowl, shit, I'm not anybody act like I know what Super Bowl that was, but it was in New Orleans. I remember that shit. It was in the city. So yeah. Funny enough, that was the Super Bowl that made Lil Wayne a Packers fan. That's the Super Bowl that made Lil Wayne a Packers fan. Number 6, and it is the Denver Broncos of 1997. Now, the reason why I went with the 1997 one and not the 1998 one is because I felt like the 1997 one has so much more to prove. John Elway had been in Super Bowls before and just could never fucking win them. So in '97, you finally get there. You got Terrell Davis. Finally, you have a running game. You have Terrell Davis. You got Steve Atwater as a corner on the defense. You got a team. Mark Schlereth as an offensive lineman. You finally have a team in Denver to get you over the hump. You also have shit Mike Shanahan as the head coach. Denver was going into that Super Bowl, going against the Green Bay Packers, who won the Super Bowl in the previous year. Green Bay went back-to-back Super Bowls in 96 and 97. They just didn't win because of the Denver Broncos. Denver finally got over the hump. John Elway finally got his, and that is something that was very special. Now, 98 probably had a better year. They probably had a better situation, but they played the Falcons. And like I said, as much as the Falcons, yeah, they had a record. Nobody believed the fucking Falcons was actually better than the fucking Vikings. Ain't nobody believed that shit. So yeah, Denver though, 97, John Elway finally got his first ring, and that's why it's on the list. Before I go further in the top five, gotta recap the list. Number 10, the Jacksonville Jaguars, 1999. Number 9, the Buffalo Bills in the 90s. First of 4 Super Bowl heartbreaks. Might have been the worst. I'll be honest, this might have been the worst. This was the worst heartbreak. This has to be the worst because you actually had the game. You were down the field. You had to kick the field goal. You had the game. That had to be the worst one. Number 8, the Minnesota Vikings in '98. Number 7, the first Super Bowl winning team of the '90s on my list, and that is the Green Bay Packers of 1996. Number 6, the Denver Broncos of the 1997. John Elway finally got his first ring, which would lead to his next one in '98. I also believe if the Vikings played the Broncos in '98, the Vikings beat the shit out the Broncos. I don't think you had anybody at that time that could even stop Randy Moss. You had not a soul that could stop Randy Moss. Rookie Randy Moss? Oh, fuck no. No. And number 5, I have the New York Giants of the 1990s. The 1990 New York Giants is the team that beat the Buffalo Bills in that Super Bowl. Coached by Bill Parcells, quarterbacked by a backup, which is even crazier. Otis Anderson as the running back. But that defense was the telltale sign of how great the Giants really was. Defensive coordinated by Bill Belichick. Go fucking figure. Lawrence Taylor. Yeah. In '86, they won the ring. They beat the Denver Broncos. But in '90, that was the key of Bill Belichick's greatness. Bill Belichick literally told him, hey, man, that no huddle shit, let them run Thurman Thomas. We're going to stop the fucking passing game of the Buffalo Bills. And he did. You couldn't stop him all the way. But he did enough. That Giants defense was stout that year. Went into San Francisco, beat Joe Montana in one of his last years with the San Francisco 49ers. They beat the San Francisco 49ers, the team of the 80s, and they beat them. The New York Giants of the 90s. It's on the list. And number 4, it is the Dallas Cowboys of the 1992. This was the first of Dallas championships in the 90s. Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, the triplets is what they called them. That defense was also really good. Yeah, that defense was fucking good, man. Jimmy Johnson built a fucking top tier team, an incredible team. It took 3 years to turn the Cowboys into a championship caliber team, but they finally fucking did it. And in '92, they played the Buffalo Bills and they beat them. Now, of course, the Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys would meet again in '93, and of course, Dallas would beat them in '93. But this was the first ring that Dallas won since what, the '70s, '80s, with Roger Staubach. Like, yeah, man. So this was the first of Dallas, big three. So yeah, that's four. At three, it is the San Francisco 49ers of 1994, led by Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Roger Craig. Is there any other team? Deion Sanders as the corner. The San Francisco 49ers of 1994 had a lot to prove because in '92, '93, they just couldn't get over the hump. Dallas beat them multiple years, got to the Super Bowl. They felt like they had a chance, but they just could never get over the hump. Like I said, Steve Young, and that was the first year I think Steve Young was officially the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. They traded Joe Montana, I think, that year. Here's how crazy this shit is. You realize Joe Montana and Steve Young could have played in the Super Bowl against each other the first year in '94? Joe Montana got the Kansas City Chiefs to the AFC Championship game that year, and San Diego beat them. But that team, San Francisco, man, I remember Joe Montana like, get the monkey off my back. It's over. Get him off. I remember Steve Young doing that, man. That was crazy. So yeah, man, that was the first ring they had won. Also, not just with Joe Montana, but without um Bill Walsh. So that was the first ring they won without Bill Walsh. So that was a moment, man. That was a moment. Number two, it is the 1991 Washington Redskins. Now Commanders, but then they were the Redskins. Washington winning in '91. This is the team that people talk about. It's the unspoken team in football that nobody really talks about, but did damage on a fucking football field. 15-1. You had the offensive line that was one of the greatest offensive lines to ever be put together. Yo, the Washington Redskins, you have that team. This is the team, by the way, that had scored the most points up until I think like the Patriots in 2007. Yeah, like they were. This was the team that scored the most points in a season. Was the Washington Redskins of 1991. That sounds absolutely fucking crazy, but it's the truth. So you had the Washington Redskins in 1991. They went 15-1. They played the Buffalo Bills in the Super Bowl, and they absolutely destroyed them. They were doomed from the start. You had the Thurman Thomas not finding his helmet for the first drive. It was just like, oh my god, what the hell is this? Yeah, that was a bad situation. It was a really bad situation. Really bad, really bad. But at number one, yes, as great as Washington was, I can't, I can't. This was the start of the greatest show on turf. Kurt Warner leading the charge. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, the fucking St. Louis Rams, man. I gotta put them there, man. 1999. That St. Louis team, yes, they won the Super Bowl in 2000, but they were a 1999 team. That team, Marshall Faulk, bro, that fucking team was goated, bro. I don't give a fuck. And of course in the 2000s, that's when they became the greatest show on turf. But the 1999 year was fucking crazy, dude. That was a game changing team, bro. The fact that Kurt Warner wasn't even a starting quarterback to start the season off. Shit, he wasn't even number one on the depth chart at the time. Trent Green got injured, which is probably one of the most game. There's a lot of things we can say about like what if this doesn't happen. If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, if Miami clears Drew Brees, if the Dolphins clear Drew Brees, if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, and if Trent Green doesn't get hurt, does the Rams become really the greatest show on turf? Because of what Kurt Warner, who is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, because of what Kurt Warner could do with the football, it opened so much stuff up for Marshall Faulk to do what Marshall Faulk was doing. The Rams was that fucking team, bro. Oh my god, I used to. Ah man, when I had Madden in the 2000s, but who didn't want the Rams? Who wasn't picking the Rams, bro? Like, oh my god, I used to hate when the Saints had to play them, bro. That was 3 games I used to dread when I was a child. The 49ers, the Rams, and the Falcons. Those are the 3 games I dreaded when I was a Saints fan as a kid. I hated those fucking teams. Hated them fucking teams. It felt like they always figured out a way to beat us. It would be the most absurd fucking ways we would lose to these dudes, and they'll beat us. But the Rams in 1999 was game changing. Now for the Saints fans in 2000, we got their ass back. Oh yeah, we got their ass back. We beat them in the dome, baby. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But 99, we were just another victim. We were just another victim. But that is the list. So let me recap before I get off here. Number one, the Rams of 1999. Number two, the Washington Redskins Commanders of 1991. Number three, the San Francisco 49ers of 1994. Number four, the Dallas Cowboys of 1992. Number five, the New York Giants of the 1990s. Number six, the Denver Broncos of 1997. Number seven, Green Bay Packers of 1996. Number eight, the Minnesota Vikings of 1998. The Bills is the 1999 Bills, and they come in at number 9. And number 10, it is the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1999. That is it. That is it. That is the end of the 90s for sports. So I'll be back with the 2000s, clearly. Oh, no, no, no. I could do athletes in 1990. So I'll probably do one more list in the 90s, and that's going to be athletes in the 90s. But after that, it's time for sports. It's time to move into the 2000s. That is it. That is it. And I will be doing the 90s wrestling list. So wrestling life, you about to get your 90s dose. But that is it. That is it. Till next time, I am Brandon Janeau. This is I Believe Sports, my top 10 teams in the 90s NFL. Till next time. Peace.